Will the BYU Cougars stay red hot against Oklahoma State? And is Kansas State on upset alert? We're getting the Big 12 squad together and talking all things Big 12 football.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up, it's the Big 12 squad, and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big 12 squad.
Welcome into the Locked On Big 12 Squad show. I'm Jake Hatch. Yes, I am filling in as the host of this week's edition. Sources conflict on where Drake Toll is right now. There are some people who believe he may be, suspended and or fired for last week's charade, bringing on St. Bill Snyder. But hey, everybody, how's everybody doing out there?
It's like the one wrestler that was from Parts Unknown. I think that's where Drake is right now. Yeah, he's just parts unknown, man. We'll keep it mysterious.
Drake Cole is away from the team for personal reasons.
Well, he's in street clothes somewhere. Yes, that's right.
I think he's at a tattoo parlor. I don't know.
I think he'll bury the lead here. He might have finally got so sunburned he had to take a break. Where's your pink? Where's your tan here? What you got going on, Jake?
I'm in Utah where it's about to get real snowy. Let's just put it that way. So, Cody Stovall, we're going to talk about Oklahoma State here in a minute. So get ready for that snow when you guys come out this way. Just FYI. But we got Chris Level from Locked On Texas Tech next to me. Cody Stovall from Locked On Oklahoma State next to him. We got the venerable JT Wistersill from Locked On Utes down on the far right. If you're watching this on YouTube, Richie Bradshaw from Locked On Sun Devils, Mountaineer Paul with Locked On West Virginia, and of course Parker Ainsworth. And why are you here, Parker, when you're talking about the Houston Cougars in football?
Hey, the
preseason basketball polls came out. Wait a second. Yeah, the AP polls out. We're not talking hoops. Wait a second.
We're almost there.
I can't even think about basketball. I'm already disappointed with football. You can't even bring up basketball right now.
All right. I want to start off.
Has basketball?
Fun fact.
Okay, I don't know.
I thought they all played at BYU. I thought that was the deal there.
They very well may be at this point. Let's just put it that way. The promos. But let's get started today, and I want to start off. So Cody Stovall, you and I are going to be obviously at loggerheads this week because we got the big matchup Friday night in Provo. I'll just give everybody a heads up. The forecast out here in Utah is the high for the day is in the upper 40s. By the time this game kicks off at 8:15, 8:20 local time, we're talking about maybe upper 30s and potential rain/snow. So Cody, y'all ready for the winter?
No, absolutely not. But hey, I have good news. All right, there's excitement in Stillwater. Mike Gundy, he hit his head with a cow, and it didn't knock any sense into him because we still have the same coaches. So there's that.
Okay, here's the thing. He claims he got headbutted by the cow because the cow watched Oklahoma State football. So, are we buying this excuse?
Or the truth is Mike Gundy was watching film and decided that it was better to headbutt a cow than to continue to watch the product that he was being forced to grade.
That man does that would make a show at a retirement home.
I can understand that.
Don't besmirch Mike Gundy and his farming and coaches shows at the retirement home.
Everybody knows that's how you get the toughest questions is at retirement homes. All right.
To be fair, the retirement was also.
If you ask really tough questions, you may get fired. That's or threaten to be fired by the owner of a.
I was going to say that the retirement home is where their quarterback resides. There's no connection there. I thought that was the whole point. That's his dorm.
That's Cam Rising territory right there. Just so you know.
Here we go.
26th grade. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. What is the deal with Cam Rising? Is he hurt or is he just been put out to pasture with Mike Gundy's cow?
Cam Rising is out for the season. Utah announced. I still cannot for the life of me understand why Kyle Whittingham left Cam in the game. After the third play of the game, he got rolled up on by a 290-pound defensive tackle. Cam Rising is the worst injury luck and just gets injured more than anyone I've ever covered. And now 2 seasons where Utah success. What did you say, Mountaineer Paul?
Between him and Tyler Shuck, probably.
Yeah, I live that nightmare.
Yes, exactly. So 2 years in a row now where Utah success was really counting on Cam Rising's health, because you're just not winning a conference unless you have your starting quarterback. So that's where, it's going to be incredibly challenging now for Utah. Cam apparently can't come back for another year. I cannot imagine a world where not only Cam, but Utah in particular wants to go through this whole ordeal again. I mean, I've talked about before losing
Forks
my
up,
hair.
Richie! Forks up!
We love toxic relationships here, baby.
I was one of these people. I mean, it's my man Dillingham. He got lost in the abyss of the Mill Street mob there, or is that right? Do I have Mill Avenue? Is that right?
Mill Avenue.
There you go.
God,
World
dude, that
famous.
was so funny. So I'm on the field during the storming and everything, and it was intense because for once ASU had fans in the stands, and that's not something we're used to. So also, I was under the perception that it's just the students. Oh no, everyone was welcome onto the field, and it was insane. And obviously that was one of the greatest post-game interviews ever, and he was like, I'm one of these people, and he just jumps in and starts rallying, and ESPN's like, all right, then don't know what else to do.
Richie,
Oh,
somebody
my God.
flashed you, didn't they? Somebody showed them to you, didn't they?
Brother, I got shoved around by more than a handful of people.
But you didn't get
Funny enough, I met
You got
one
shoved
of,
around by handfuls? Is that what are you talking about over here? Ricky? Calm
I
down
met one
now,
of my
man.
everydayers on the field. They called me out. They were like, Richie Bradshaw, Locked on Sun Devils. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Am I in trouble?
Your
Maybe it
worlds
was
are
the Utah-
colliding.
Maybe it was the Utah defense who was shoving you, because they dang sure if you would have been, you weren't tackled by the Utah defense, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Shout out to JT
I would just
for
like to
swerving
go
us back
over-
onto the road. I love it.
Well, okay, here's the thing, Richie. Real quick on the Cam Scadaboo front, is he going to be stopped at any point in the season? It feels like
Is he going to what?
is he going to be stopped at all this season? Because Utah sure didn't stop him.
No, and I want to throw this out there because I put it on my podcast, and the more I can talk about it, the better. I have nicknamed him the people's running back because the people love him. He can run it, he can catch it, he can throw it, he can punt it. He does
I don't love him right
everything,
now.
and he's your mom's favorite player.
Not
He's
mine.
the best. If it wasn't for
To
Ashton
be fair,
Genty,
my mom just yells
the-
Scatabo randomly. It doesn't know it's this guy's name.
if it wasn't for Ashton Genty, he would have a legit case to be the Doak Walker Award winner, but unfortunately, this is just the wrong year to be doing what he's doing.
Hey, Mountaineer Paul, real
How
quick.
really quick, just for an accurate description of how my week has gone, I literally got clipped into a song about my comments on Scadaboo and how he's giving me nightmares, and I can confirm that every time he is brought up, I get PTSD after that performance.
I
All
saw
right, I'm going to
this.
need a link to that just to hear it for myself.
I saw this. I saw this on the old timeline, and I did the double back. I'm like, wait a second, I know these people. Hey, I hate to tell Rich.
Someone gotta get that to me.
I hate to tell Richie, but Scadaboo's not even the best running back amongst this podcast.
Guy Bernard?
No,
I don't know. I know you're probably talking about Stacey Sneed of the Houston Cougars there, Chris. But
Richie got an up close look at the Red Raiders' Taj Brooks whenever they Scadaboo only was held to 60 yards
Back in the conference, he was good.
in Lubbock. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Taj Brooks.
So we need to get to some predictions for these games.
can we go through?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we go through other 2018 high-end recruits to just talk about Cam Rising's classmates as he enters his 8th year of college? You've
He's
got
in there. It's crazy.
Demarion Overshawn, who's the number one player in the class
Terrible
is Trevor
defense for the
Lawrence.
Cowboys right now.
Yeah, followed by Justin Fields. Micah Parsons was in that class. Patrick Surtain, the second, I should say. He's not that old. There's the second. Jamar Chase.
Might be that old.
Some of these dudes are already on their second contract in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Cam Rising is going to be taking what class? What class can he? There's not a class left. There can't be a class left.
They've run out of degrees to give him.
Hey, don't forget about Bowman. All right, don't leave my guy out
Bowman, I think it's the same class.
All right. Okay, we are going to get into. We still need to get Mountaineer Paul. Neil Brown is apparently making waves out in West Virginia. We need to dig into that. We also get into the games this coming weekend. We'll dig into all that as Locked on Big 12 Squad, rolls on momentarily. This edition of Locked On Big 12 is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Of course, FanDuel is here for you guys no matter what you need when your sports betting needs out there. NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return with our friends at FanDuel right now, as they are America's #1 sportsbook. Super simple and easy to use app. The best part is whenever you got the hunch in the middle of a game, check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you're placing your bets. It's all available to you from our friends over at FanDuel. And of course, you'll get started right now with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets guaranteed with, simply put, your first $5 bet. Take advantage of it today. Head to FanDuel.com to take advantage of that offer. It's all courtesy of your friends over at FanDuel, as they are America's #1 sportsbook. Locked On Big 12 squad back together for another week here. All right, Mountaineer Paul, it is your time to shine. Neil Brown is making waves out there in Morgantown. Give us like the Reader's Digest version of what all is going down with the Mountaineers right now.
Well, just to here's how we got here. We're in year 6. I would consider us historically one of the better programs in the league from a historical perspective. So our fans have a really high expectations anyway. Add the fact that we came off a 9-win year. There was a lot of expectations for this year. We're in year 6 of a Neil Brown era where we haven't even been ranked not one time. That's coming off of a 16 out of 17 years of being ranked. In the press conference, when he was asked about his message to the fans, because we got a night game against Kansas State back-to-back. We win that game. We're really in the driver's seat to still play in the Big 12 championship game when you look at it, because we've got Cincinnati, Baylor, Tech's in there, but we've got some easier teams down the line. And he went on to say that we should be happy because the weather was nice. We should be happy because the crowd was cool. The uniforms are cool. So it's not all about winning, basically. And so it's caused a storm that Pat McAfee's picked up and ran with. So
Hey,
it's been
Did
crazy.
someone bring back Saint? The Saint back?
Yeah, St. Bill Snyder's back because he's playing Kansas State obviously this week. We mentioned the fact that here's the thing: when in doubt, go to the weather. Come on, everybody, let's play up the weather card. That's always a good place to go, isn't it?
So you're saying the equal matter is raining down in Morgantown, what you're getting at?
I listen to Neil's answer. I've actually known Neil since he was at Tech for 3 or 4 years. I text with him on occasion. I think he's guilty sometimes of being just very transparent and too honest. But he did make the point, and I know West Virginia fancies themselves as still in the Big East at times, and they ran that league and all that. This is a tougher league, but whoever scheduled this, put this schedule together, did him no favors, because they've what are the 3 losses, Paul? Is that right? And that those teams are combined 18-0. Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah. I mean, playing Pitt and Penn State in your non-conference is a death sentence. I mean, like for rivalry games and all that stuff. Anyway, but yeah, Neil, I think he probably just answered too long, and I heard what he said, and I think there's probably people taking it the wrong way and all that. But I just I felt bad for him, and I know him differently than you guys do. But y'all want to win, and at some point you do have to win those games. He needs to win a game that he's not supposed to win, and he's been an underdog in all those 3 and he's lost all 3 of them.
He's 3-16 against top 25 teams now.
Yeah.
0-8 on the road versus top 25 teams. Those are inexcusable numbers. You can't have that.
Hard to win on the road.
Your problem, Paul, was last year Houston beat West Virginia and still fired their coach. I don't know how he lasted this long. It's the same thing with Aranda at Baylor. Houston.
And Parker, that was the wildest ending to a game I have ever seen in Houston. That was on a Thursday night. Yes.
Yeah. Thursday night.
And Dana had that Red Bull in his back pocket, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna make it." And then he popped the top, and then lo and behold, is like, "I'm gonna make it." Here we go, at least for another day.
All right.
There was, and I don't mean to pile on. But there was a stretch there where every fall sport, the first Big 12 win was soccer, volleyball. Everyone's was West Virginia. So it was just like something in the air, right? It was just, I don't know what was going on.
All right. So Parker, Houston, they play football still somehow, and y'all are facing, it's kind of the pillow fight of the week in the conference. Y'all are headed to Lawrence, Kansas. You guys going to pick up win number 3 and keep the misery for the Jayhawk fans rolling?
I would like to take a moment, though, moment of silence for Aiden Hutchinson, who was in the same high school class as Cam Rising. I will say that Houston plays Kansas this weekend. Kansas, record looks bad. I've talked to Derek a little bit, and I've looked up some stuff. And I will say, I don't know if they're as bad as their record is, but they're not good. Houston's coming off of a win and then a bye week. I feel okay about it. Houston beat TCU beat Kansas, but the transitive property doesn't always transfer. Some of y'all have seen Kansas up close and in person. Maybe I could get some insight there, but I can't figure out why they're bad. They're just bad.
All right, Mountaineer Paul, Kansas State. You mentioned that record that's not very good against top 25 teams. What's the chances they pull it off this weekend?
It's funny. I really think we've got a shot. I'm not going to go into that game thinking we don't. They're really beat up as well. They lost a bunch of players in the last week in the game versus Colorado. Basically, their entire secondary was hurt. I don't know how many are going to be back. John Kurtz hadn't heard Kleiman's press conference as of yesterday when I interviewed him, so we didn't really have answers. But I would say this. We are much better off against a running team than a passing team. I think we have a good run defense still. Our secondary is weak, obviously, and I think this is a game where it's going to be a little bit more lower scoring. I picked Kansas State to win the game, but certainly I think we've got a puncher's chance, no doubt. They're not worlds above us or anything like that.
Mountaineer Paul is ready to get hurt again.
well, hey, Richie, that brings me to you. ASU Cincinnati's. And here's the thing. The Bearcats went to UCF and won in Orlando. So how are you feeling about ASU heading on the road with Cam Scadaboo and company?
First of all, that doesn't seem to be difficult to go to Orlando and beat UCF at this point in the year. Here's the thing. So ASU obviously plays in the desert. They're not really accustomed to cold weather games. I know it's the middle of October. I'm not expecting a blizzard in Cincinnati, but it will be a little bit cooler. I haven't checked the weather report. I don't know. And it'll be a cross-country trip, and ASU is not used to that when we had the conference alignment to be everyone really close together. So the mileage there is going to be really different. You're in a very different time zone than what you're used to. It is a noon game. If you're on the East Coast, it's 9:00 for the local time. That's also pretty different for ASU, who's used to playing kind of later in the day. So there's a lot of differences for what ASU is used to. This is a team, though, that is just playing well above their perceived talent level and the expectations that were given to them. They're playing with an edge this year. I've looked at their schedule. There's still some really, really tough games on there, some games that I don't feel comfortable with at all. But this feels like one of the games that, I don't mean to jinx us, but this feels like one of the more competent games that I myself feel that they can win at this point in time.
I feel like I said that exact thing last week about the Utah and Arizona State game.
Well, dude, they're just different this year. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just everyone has bought into Kenny Dillingham, and the fans are finally showing back up, which who would have imagined fan presence has an impact on the way your football team plays. So they're having fun out in that game.
Hey, Richie, quick check of the weather out there in Cincinnati. Game time supposed to be around 61 degrees. So that should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's cooler. It's something they're not used to. I mean, we went to Colorado and Utah for games in cooler weather. It's not like they're completely not used to it. If anything, I'm just curious about the time zone change. You're going 2 hours ahead, or is it 3 hours? Is Cincinnati in the East Coast? It is. So,
time zone.
Yeah, that'll.
I don't feel sorry for anybody on the time zone stuff, man. Yeah. Forget it. Okay, deal with it. Suck it up.
Texas Tech.
Hey, really quick, something I appreciate about Host Hatch, I just want to say, is that because we're in all these different time zones, Jake is the weather guy. He keeps us up to date on what the weather's going to be in each of these conferences. That helps me keep it straight. Drake's our party animal guy. He's going to get sunburned, like we said, but Jake keeps us straight on what's going on everywhere. I appreciate that, Jake.
Hey, Morgantown is going to be 63 degrees, Paul, so life should be good out there for you guys in Morgantown. That's the good news. Real quick, JT. TCU last time they came to Salt Lake City, it was not very pretty because remember that was a really hyped game, and let's be very clear. TCU wiped the floor with the Utes. Is there hope this week?
Absolutely. This is a way different TCU program. I know they lost to Houston. No offense, Parker, but I feel like that says everything we need to know. This is a terrible matchup for TCU. You look at this team. They have 571 yards as a team. Mekhi Bernard rushing. Mekhi Bernard by himself has 676 yards. Utah's running back. TCU does not run the ball very well. Utah's defense is going to have a bounce back with their rushing performance. Isaac Wilson is not going to need to do a lot in this game. This would be another level of a loss for a Kyle Whittingham team. I cannot see it coming to that, even with Isaac Wilson at the helm. This TCU team is still one of the bottom 5 teams in the conference. And this Utah team, I do expect them against TCU and Houston, despite all the turmoil, to be 6-2 before their rough 4-game stretch to end the season. I like this matchup for Utah against TCU because I think it's going to come down to the trenches. And I don't have to see Scadaboo this weekend, so I'm happy.
I was just hoping that Steven Simcox was going to be here to rebut against that, but he decided not to show up. So all right,
Howard.
All right. Well, I take the 6-2. Whoa, you're moving right past us. I mean, I understand that Cam Rising and the replacement of him has got to go well, right? But it's not like y'all were smooth sailing or anything before last weekend either, right? Like, I don't.
If Houston performs to the level of your Wi-Fi connection tonight, they're in a ton of trouble, Parker.
Dude, Parker's recording on a potato or something, I swear.
Wi-Fi smack. Oh, man. We've reached a new high or low. I'm not sure which.
All right. We are talking Texas Tech and Baylor coming up next. Cody Stovall and I are going to duke it out over BYU and Oklahoma State. We'll get to that as we close out this edition of Locked On Big 12 Squad momentarily. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Hims. Guys, sometimes those intimate moments happen spontaneously. That's where Hims steps in. They can help you guys be ready to get that boosted confidence so whenever the mood strikes, you are ready to rock and roll. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with the access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. It provides you access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. Think about that, saving a bunch of money out there. The best part is the process is 100% online, so there's no need to throw those uncomfortable doctor's visits to get the help you guys need. No insurance is needed, and then one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Just take a couple of minutes to answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will obviously evaluate your needs and find the right treatment option for you guys. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you in discreet packaging for free. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required and price varies based on product and subscription plan. Welcome back to the Locked On Big 12 Squad here. Jake Hatch, Chris Level, Cody Stovall, JT Wistersill, Richie Bradshaw, Mountaineer Paul out there in Morgantown, and Parker Ainsworth hanging out with y'all. All right, Cody, give me your best smack talk from the Oklahoma State side of things when it comes to facing off against the BYU Cougars. Ready? Go.
Well, it doesn't look great, but here's what I will say. We get to bring in a new quarterback. We do have some help defensively now that should be able to show out on the field. So just like I always tell everybody on here, I like big butts and I like big dubs. So we're about to be soaking on the W's in Provo, Utah, baby.
Soaking jokes. I was waiting for something to come out of that. Soaking jokes. I like it.
Soaking in the dubs, baby. Well, how's Jameis Winston do it?
Yeah, well, I can tell you this much. BYU fans will say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And they will be bringing you that ice cream, when you show up. So make sure to check out the Cougar Tales while you're here as well. All right.
Do you guys have like chocolate milk and stuff like that on tap in your stadium?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good. Strawberry milk. They got the whole thing, guys. Trust me.
Baylor has milk and honey.
The dirty soda litmus test. People, what's a dirty soda? JT and Jake can't answer.
Okay, Chris, you know what a dirty soda is? This is a great question for our hosts.
I saw y'all talking about this on the text. I mean, I honestly have no concept of what
Okay, Cody Stovall, do you know what it is?
It sounds like something they should serve in Manhattan with St. Bill Snyder, but probably not.
All right.
Fill me in. What is in it?
We'll get to it in a moment. Richie Bradshaw, I know you're down in the Valley of the Sun. They have them down there. Do you know what a dirty soda is?
I was going to say, I might just need to sneak over to Mill Avenue and have some 19-year-old kid with a fake ID fill me in on what it is.
Or just sneak over to Mesa. I can tell you Mesa will have it.
I value my life. I'm not going to Mesa.
Gilbert is somewhere around there, that whole Mormon corridor. You know what I'm talking about.
Love Gilbert. Yep.
All right.
Gilbert's all good.
All right. Mountaineer Paul, do you know what a dirty soda is?
It is.
He brought out the phone.
I love it.
Says it's a. Oh, do we have to get to Parker still?
Okay.
Are you asking him too?
Parker's got in-laws live out here in Utah. I've grubbed with Parker out here in Salt Lake City. So,
Oh, okay. It
well
says it's
away.
a drink consisting of soda spiked with cream and a flavor with syrups and juices.
Bingo.
right?
Yep.
That's how they spike things in Salt Lake City. They use cream.
Wow.
Sounds dangerous.
So it's like a Starbucks sugary foo-foo drink or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be up all night after taking one of those. Stay up
Yeah.
past your 10 o'clock bedtime.
Let's just put it this way. We don't chase like liver disease. We chase the diabetes out here in Utah. Let's just put it that way.
Diabetes.
You have
I'm
to
on my
stay
way.
warm, dude.
That sounds like a good time. I'm not going to lie. I
gotta tell you, when y'all ask me what a dirty soda is, boy, my mind is all over the dang place.
You went a
I
lot of
did not
ways.
think it would be
Especially with this
cream
group.
and sugar or something in soda water. That was not.
Go to Urban Dictionary, Chris.
Hey,
I know.
Chris, the best part is go get it. And here's the thing: the nectar of the gods out this way is Diet Coke, and they'll mix it with everything. It feels like under
DC.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
So-
I don't know what a dirty
Living on the
soda
wild
is.
side.
I do know what a dirty girl is.
well, Cody.
Who approves this show?
It would.
They kept us on another week. That's their fault.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Chris, we have not had a chance to ask you about your matchup this weekend. What is the expectation as Baylor makes the cross-state trek to Lubbock this weekend?
I mean, is this an opposing coach coming into Lubbock that's coaching for his job?
I think Drake Toll's the new head coach.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean,
We think Drake's in like parts unknown. He might
sitting
be
in
getting a
interviews.
job. Who knows?
The crazy thing about Baylor is, okay, so they played Utah close. They played BYU really close. First half was bad. They played Iowa State very close, really into the mid-third quarter, and then it kind of got away from them. I mean, Texas Tech has won a bunch of close games. Baylor has lost a bunch of close games. So I think this could be actually a really sneaky, tough game. I don't know if Baylor can put it all together. Their starting quarterback is actually from Lubbock, Texas, Sawyer Robertson. So I don't know if he plays better, he plays worse. I don't know what to think there, but this will be a sneaky, tough game for the Red Raiders, I think. And that's obviously where Joey McGuire came from, was Baylor. And you have a guy that'll be rushing the passer for Baylor, and then Steve Linton that played at Texas Tech last year. So there's a lot of connections here. So it'll be fascinating.
It should be
Tech's
a fun
about a
one.
6.5 point favorite there.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I saw earlier.
I'll just say this, Cody, when Oklahoma State comes into town, I'm fully expecting BYU to be 7-0 after this one, but enjoy that ice cream all the same, okay?
Well, I will say this. I said a while back, a couple episodes ago, that this conference is more bipolar than my XO lady, and that has been proven right every single week. So if there's going to be a week that we can, magically pop up like a mushroom out of a Mike Gundy cow patty, it's got to be this one. This is the time,
Jesus.
right? When everybody thinks that we're about to get dominated, this is the game, all right?
All right. Well, hey,
Cody Stovall's had too many dirty sodas. We got to cut him off.
if preseason number 16 Arizona State can run the doors off of number 1 Utah, anything can happen.
I knew Locked On BYU was getting a shot, and I knew I wasn't going the whole episode without Locked On BYU hosting a show just to torture me even more.
This is
You got me, Jake.
they called in the grown-ups to host the show with Drake interviewing for that Baylor job. Let's just put it that way.
I think you were supposed to inverse the ratings. I think that's what happened. ASU was supposed to finish first, Utah last.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Well,
Just like we all predicted.
Okay, well, Kevin Borba decided not to show up, and obviously there was that, there was a certain bet about a tattoo on a rear end for somebody on the line with St. Bill Snyder. Well, Borba decided, you know what, even though he couldn't be here with us, physically, in the physical sense, he decided to record his take on all things Colorado in their matchup this weekend. Here it goes.
Crazy.
Great take. Great take.
I mean, wow. He really nailed that one.
Absolutely riveting stuff by Borba.
Borba needs to show up next time. Let's just put it that way. Like, no more of this recording
Coward.
Yes.
Like Drake, like you said, in the parts unknown, he could have recorded his take. He didn't even decide to even do that. So
No.
All right.
I want to be on
Parts unknown.
Well, that is going to do it for this edition of Locked On Big 12 Squad. Everybody, follow and subscribe to your favorite Locked On Big 12 show. We got Chris Level with Locked On Texas Tech, Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State, JT Wistersill with some show called Locked On Utes, even though, two Utes. What's the story there? But nonetheless, Richie Bradshaw, Locked On Sun Devils, Mountaineer Paul, Locked On West Virginia Mountaineers. Enjoy that good weather out there on the East Coast, boys. And then, of course, Parker Ainsworth, where he's still waiting for basketball season with Locked On Cougs. But
AP pulls out. We're good.
This is it. What are we doing?
All right.
What are we doing?
Go forks up or go Shockers. What are we doing? Yeah.
There we go. There's the Y for the Cougs. So there we go.
Great show, guys. We'll see you next week.
Keep hope alive, everybody.
Follow the show. Also check out Locked On Big 12 wherever you get your shows every single day right here on the Locked On Big 12 podcast and Locked On Network. Of course, it is your team every day.